So you're recording, I'm recording, and then you just like we transfer the WAV file to me after. Bada bing.
Bada boom, bada bang.
So tell me what's going on. I mean, lots been going on with you lately. I know that you've been going through some stuff.
Yeah.
Anything you don't want to talk about, I guess, that we should keep off the table, but anything you do want to talk about, like, let's have it.
So yeah, I actually don't want to talk about it. It's very personal. I just can say I went through a lot of things that I had to understand and I had to let go of. People come and go and all this stuff, but at one place you kind of define what is happening to you and what is occurring to you and why this shit just keeps happening. So yeah, this is what I realized, and I just realized, okay, everything that happened to me, actually a friend said this to me, everything that ever happened to me, I deserve it. And at first it was like, I don't want like, damn, this is so true. Like even things in my past, like I don't know, maybe that was like a past life or anything. I did fucked up things in this occasion, so I had to go back here and realize it, and now I'm realizing it, and now I slowly figure out that I actually have a reason why I'm here, you know? Like,
so that's kind of a breakthrough then. You had kind of a breakthrough then. You realize why you're here. You mean alive.
Yeah, why I'm here and why I should stop worrying about bullshit on this planet that just distracts me from something that is really important that I have to do here. So
what is it, if you don't mind me asking, why are you here? What is it that you realized?
It's a feeling that I can't really explain of what it is. I will think about this a few more years and then I can let you know.
That's album number 2. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so speaking of albums, we talked a little bit about this, I think, last time, how music is cathartic. You kind of don't know what you're saying sometimes until you say it. How much of that was the case with your latest debut? How much of it did you sit down and say, this is what I'm going to write, and this is the concept behind it, and then how much of it was just kind of, it just happened and you realized what you were making as you were doing it, or after the fact?
Actually, with all those tracks, like, this is mostly what I'm doing, what I keep doing, is I have a melody, and I figure out this melody, and for a sudden there's like, I just like start recording without me being prepared for anything. And then I start recording, and then there's just words coming out. And at first, like afterwards, I'm like, okay, words don't make sense together. But for example, what I just realized, like looking back at the album, all those words make sense to me now. And it's weird to see that I was thinking of that already, but I couldn't relate of how it connects.
So what is the album to you now then? Now that you're like looking at it in a different place,
like,
really?
It's funny because I see that I already knew a lot of shit. That I already knew a lot of stuff that I didn't want to see, also logically or rationally, like into my face. I just didn't want it to get into my face. But I saw
like
it.
Like denial? Like you're in
denial? Denial because of fear or something, or like something that I didn't understand before. But I did understand, but I didn't
want to.
Yeah. But yeah, like most of the tracks are kind of like freestyling.
So when are you gonna make a pop album that's like really happy and full of nonsense about drinking and getting laid and being famous? Like, when are you gonna do it? That's what people want to hear, you know?
Yeah, you know.
That's the important stuff in life.
Yeah.
It's all about the clubs, girl.
I'll make a candy song about candies.
Candies and clubs.
Yo, I dreamed of a crazy candy, but I can't tell you the idea because if you post the interview, I haven't developed a candy yet. But
You gotta patent it first. Gotta get that patent.
But I can say that new music will be more upwards going. I can't say positive, but it will be like a lot of energy coming. Like just feel a lot of energy inside myself that needs to get out. And I don't know how it will get out, so I don't know how it looks like or sound like. But
That's
it will
good.
be
If
something.
we knew what was gonna happen, it'd be boring. I'm being fun. You know, it's funny how we want like so badly, I think, people in general to be, you know, in control. This sense of like being in control of who we are and having self-control and being disciplined and being decisive and actionable. But in some ways, it's the fact that there's so many uncertainties is what makes life quite fascinating and interesting. Because if you could just tell yourself to do something and then you did it, I don't really know if that's...
In the moment I
know.
tell myself what I should do, I'm already doing the opposite. You know, it's just like blocking me, like in the moment I say it.
That's that's the case though, isn't it? That's just how we are. That's just how people are. I think that we don't want to be in, I think that we secretly don't want to be in control. Secretly we want to see what happens.
I think in some sense everyone is looking for like at least one, like sometimes I'm looking for a pattern, I try at least. But mostly it's really chaotic.
Patterns in music are interesting because the more I write, the more I find that I like to hear things repeated.
Yeah.
For some reason. That doesn't mean that I like to hear songs that are just constant repetition, but rather like to have certain patterns repeating without, in some sense, realizing that I'm hearing the pattern.
Yeah.
I think I actually read something online too that like there's some part of your brain that is fond of repetition, that it's like pleasurable, you know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
And which is probably why things like pop songs a lot of the times are popular, is because they're kind of triggering things inside of people's brains.
They let you connect to a memory. For example, you're listening it in a special occasion and then you always remember this track, and always when this track comes back you have these emotions of this memory.
So tell me what it was like. You had Murad mixed and mastered, or just mastered?
Murad mastered, but he also helped a bit with the mixing because I always confuse mixing and mastering. So.
But no more.
So
now
like,
you know the difference.
Can you push this like a little bit like down, like you know, like this area, and could you like do this and that? And Murrad's like, yeah, I do that. But also Najib did 2 tracks, mastered 2 tracks. And T Talal Chainsaw also
Talal,
did like 3 tracks.
Everyone's always changing their names in K+.
Yeah.
Who knows what we're going to call them next time we have an
T
interview.
Talal Chainsaw. Added more gold plates, gold.
So it sounds great, by the way. Some music is not demanding. It's like background almost. But
Yeah.
the album is very demanding.
Yeah.
It tells you to stop doing what you're doing and just go to a different place for an hour, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of like you. Why are you so demanding?
Because it was even exhausting and demanding to me. Because I know that I wanted to go through those tracks because they're just reflections of what I went through. So all those tracks have something to do with what I experienced. So people dying out of fear, or people getting stressed out, like how they can survive, or being scared of like certain things that might appear like war or politics that go crazy, like it is pretty demanding. It's like going to the core of that. You could like that your thinking is just matter, you know? So whatever you think of, it can get real.
So what did this process of making this album teach you about fear and stress and these things that kind of link together?
What it teaches me?
What did you take away from it, having written so much about fear and stress and anxiety and these elements that are kind of connected? What is it that you now see about that, or maybe now see about yourself in regards to those elements of life?
Right now, I just realized that a lot of this tension and exhausting feelings, and like also this digital stress that I was feeling also. There are a few tracks that are actually about like me thinking about how it would be or how it would feel like if we are actually already digital and we don't even realize that we are since forever, and we're just realizing this tool of like making digital things right now, but it could have been for forever and we're just realizing it now. But like digital could be like in so many in such a small and tiny fractal of us that we can't even differentiate. Differentiate.
I'll just cut the 4 times you said that together to make it sound right.
Differentiate?
The right parts of that. Differentiate.
How do you say it?
Differentiate.
Oh, okay. Differentiate.
Yeah. No, you got it right 4 times.
Okay. 4 times.
So what is, you said digital people. What is a digital person?
You and me.
How is it that we are digital?
It's the same question as if you're saying, does God exist or not? Because you can't prove if you're digital or not. You just cannot prove it. There's the experience with the cat in this little box. If the box is closed, you cannot really tell if the cat is inside there or not. You just can't look at the box and guess, you know?
So people believe in God like myself because, typically because we believe that God has revealed himself to us, and we choose to believe that, recognize what is being revealed to us. How is it that you came to believe that we at least may be digital? Was it through a revelation, or was it through research, or was it just how did that consensus come about?
It was a sudden moment when I was at a friend's place, and you know there are people saying every person has a certain aura around them, certain something that you feel there's something around them, and you can just sense it. Some people sense it, some not. And then I was thinking about this aura and what it means that there's something around this person. And then I was putting myself into the situation of being inside of this bubble of myself, which is kind of the aura. So it's you're inside this bubble, which is kind of your aura. And then I was oh shit, bubble, aura. And then I was okay, hold on. Is this a bubble of reality? It's a bubble around us that gives us the reality, and however we reach out, we cannot get out of this bubble. We're inside our body, we're stuck. We cannot get out there. We don't know, we can't get out of this body because this bubble always moves with us, So it's and then I was okay, then there's this bubble, and now I'm asking myself, it could be digital, it could be real, but what is real? It could be whatever,
So it's more of a possibility to you now. It's more of this could be the case, but it's not necessarily something that you believe is the case.
I mean, I believe both, that it could be just like somehow. I mean, I think the organic, natural world that we live in could be digital, but it doesn't mean that it's like different or wrong or something. But it's just like maybe even invented by something, or like.
It's interesting what you just said. How it's not. If it's true, it's not wrong.
It's
how
like
do you
a thought,
determine? How do you determine, or how can one determine what is wrong and what is right?
No one can.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing? Regardless of whether or not we can determine it, do you think there's such a thing as right and wrong?
I think in the eye of the person, something wrong could be something right for the other person. So it's just really what you're like going for.
Do you think that right and wrong are more relative, or that we make it relative?
So I think it's not really something just only logical. I think it's also connected to emotions. So like there are people who love to like just like create and connect and harmony, and there are also people maybe unintended or really willing to more into the destructive, going into destructive with certain will as well, and it's okay for them without connecting the emotions, for example. But I cannot judge what is right or wrong. Like you just have to decide for yourself what you wish to feel.
Do you think there's a difference between judging somebody else and using judgment?
That's the same, or?
Well, like for instance, you're staying on the side of the road, cars are passing, and the person next to you says, okay, let's cross. But there's so many cars passing, because you're using judgment, you're discerning the situation, it's not the right time to pass. So that person decides, well, I'm going to pass, and they get hit by a car and they die. But you don't pass because you use your judgment. Like driving, you apply the brakes. That's the form. You're using judgment to stop from crashing and so forth. So you used judgment.
I mean,
You may be able to look at that person and say, hey, if that person wanted to cross the road, then that's up to them. I'm not going to judge them for making what I would consider a poor decision. And so I think that, what do you think about the difference between judging other people for their decisions, as poor as they may seem to you, but then using judgment for your own decisions?
Yeah, because I have a certain will and a wish, and if I see a lot of like cars crossing, I just know, okay, I don't want to die right now. So, that's just like, I have some shit to do on this planet, so I'm just gonna wait until those cars pass, and then I'm gonna go.
And imagine if that person next to you was like your really close friend, like you loved them. You probably beg them not to cross.
I would ask them if they're sure.
Yeah, and if it was someone so close to you, and they're like, I'm going to do it, you would probably try to convince them you're going to hurt yourself. You'd probably try to use your judgment to at least encourage to them that their judgment is off.
I think the only thing is to ask them if they are sure about that, and to just make sure that they are aware in their senses right now what they're about to do. But I can't like beg them to not do it, because that would be egoistic to say, okay, I don't want this. I mean, that's pretty intense for like just crossing a street, but like
right. It's an extreme for sure. So it's interesting though, like on one side of you naturally wants to let people choose their path, even though it may be very destructive for them, because you want to give people that chance to live their life and exercise their will. But another part of you kind of takes the burden that they're experiencing on emotionally.
So the only thing, I cannot help people, I cannot help anyone with their decisions, because that's their decisions. The only thing I can do is making them reflect more about what they're doing, and maybe make them feel about something of what they're doing, or going through it through what I'm doing. But I cannot take their decisions. Some people could relate to what I'm going through, and they will understand and get through this as well if they want to. But that's their will, so I cannot decide over that, and I don't want to decide over that.
And it's a good thing not to want to impose your will onto somebody else. It's hard when you see someone suffering, though, and you want to help them, and they don't think that what they're doing is hurting them. That's always tough.
I realized that I have to take distance from that, because I was trying that a few times, and if you're trying this, the other person takes more and more out of you, and at one point you're nearly losing yourself. You're nearly about to kill yourself if you don't stop like trying to heal someone that just is like emotionally completely distant and just doesn't want to understand.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that sometimes it's better for yourself and other people if you just let them fail than to try to prevent some sort of failure.
Yeah, like yesterday I just said this. There's like this quote that a lot of people know and say, like you can bring a horse to the drinking spot, but you cannot force it to drink, you know? Like, it's just not possible. Like, this horse has to drink by itself, like, if it wants to or not. Like, you cannot force it to drink, you know? So it's like, if you try to force it, this horse will be like, what the fuck, you know? What are you doing? Like, I'm not gonna drink this shit, you know?
It would just trot away, all fancy-like. All snooty. What a snooty horse. Sheesh. You need less of a snobby horse. It's all prissy. It like shakes its head side to side as it trots off.
I'm not gonna do this.
So tell me about some of the good times in your life. Some of the things that have happened in the past year since we've spoken that you've been really, that you hope that you will always think fondly of these moments because they were good moments.
I had a good moment in Tokyo.
Oh yeah, you were just in Tokyo. It looked like you had more than a couple good moments.
Yeah.
You didn't want to come home, right?
Yeah, I really didn't want it to come home. Damn, so beautiful there. Yeah, I was in...
So tell me about it.
Yeah, I was in Yokohama for one day. I actually just wanted to go to some certain beach near Tokyo just because I wanted to see a beach and be around the water. And I went there way too late. Like, I went there and I got there at like 4 or 5 p.m. and the sun was already like going down. And I was like, oh shit, and it doesn't matter. Like, I'm gonna go to this. And it was even cloudy, you know, like, I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm just gonna go to this beach now and still enjoy it for like 1 hour or 2. And then I got there and I was laying in the sand and looked up, and for some certain moment I just felt so close and home to myself, and I was in the middle of nowhere. I didn't know anyone around me. I was far from the city. I was alone in Tokyo at that moment because my friends left for Hamburg and for the mountains in Tokyo, so I just was really on my own, and I felt extremely connected to where I was, and I just felt myself, and I just realized, okay, I am my home, and wherever I am, it will be all good because I'm by myself, so I'm just there, you know, like, and that was so beautiful. And when you lay on the ground, you kind of in front of you, like confronting space, you know, like there's nothing really there in front of you, in that moment when you're laying on the ground, you're just confronting it, and it just feels pretty strong.
It's like one of those breakthrough moments. And I guess, understandably, it happened when you were alone. Like, that seems to be a big part of it.
Yeah,
You needed some alone time.
I still do a lot.
Get back to that beach, girl.
No, I'm not gonna go back there. But I'm going to a different beach.
Hopefully it's empty. Just act crazy for a little while and everybody will leave because you're a girl. And then you got it. Then it's yours.
It's like, who the fuck is that girl? Kids, come on. Come on. Let's leave. You know, like, we don't know what's gonna happen here.
Don't look at her. Don't look her in the eyes.
Don't give her attention. She's gonna come. She's gonna talk to you. Do you want that?
So what about what's the difference between loneliness and being alone and having a genuinely content moment? Because you could have felt lonely, like, oh, my friends are gone and I'm alone on the beach, and you could have had a very different experience, but for some reason that being alone, that was actually a good thing.
Yeah. So at first I really loved to be alone. Somehow, like, alone is a very heavy word, because a lot of people connect alone to being
Not being loved.
lost, disconnected. You know, that's how people see alone.
But not you.
I mean, is there a different word for being on your own? On your own? Or how do you say that?
Yeah, I guess so. On your own. Alone, I guess, is more of a term to say that you're lonely in some sense.
So when I'm alone, I don't feel lonely, because I just feel I feel lonely sometimes when I really need to talk to someone, in a sense of that I don't feel good at that moment and I need someone to give me a hug or something. But next to that, being alone is actually always something beautiful. And I don't feel disconnected. I actually feel connected.
And especially on that beach.
I think the beach was just a little room to escape completely from noise and everything, to just be on my own without having anybody, because there was no one on this beach, because it was late. And it was not really warm.
They were all in the clubs listening
There
to
were
podcasts.
some crows. They're like, "Meow, meow, meow." Oh, some ducks came by, but
Ducks
they
on the
didn't
beach?
say anything. Talk. They didn't like.
They didn't talk? I hope the ducks didn't talk.
No ducks.
What's going on in Tokyo? Talking ducks.
I don't mean dogs.
Did you hang out with Josh and T this year? I think I
Yeah,
saw some footage on
in
Instagram.
Canada.
In Canada. Man, you get around, girl. You go everywhere. Did you guys write some music together?
Yeah, I mean, we made some like kind of footwork tracks.
Okay.
And before I arrived in Toronto, I started a track with Josh that we still have to finish. I can send you.
Ooh.
It's not ready yet, but
I like hearing songs that aren't ready yet. and you guys did a little cooking together, I saw.
yeah.
Did you go over there and you cook those boys some food?
Yeah, I tried to cook something, and Tara showed us some Kuwait food, which was amazing.
Oh, really?
And he made like black tea on like his golden teacups and everything. It was like amazing. He brought like some like very good like cookies to it and stuff. And
You had a tea party. What brought you out there? I mean, was it just spontaneous, or have you guys been planning on getting together? Like,
Yeah, I was actually, so I wanted to go to New York, but then I was like, okay, when I go to New York, I can actually make like a little like turn to Toronto, because from Toronto I could take a bus to...
you've been to LA before, right?
No.
Okay, well, if
Oh, I want
you
to
wanna
see
go,
LA.
I'm going this month if you want to come.
Oh, this month is not working. Get some like, I got like, like a lot of shows, like I have a lot.
Oh yeah, you got a show coming up. We got a little K Plus show coming up. Who made those teasers, by the way?
So the first two Mo did, and
they're really good.
Yeah, he used voicemails of Maha.
I know, I loved it. I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah. It was, I don't know how he came up with this, but he's just
so good. I was like, man, he's giving me a run for my money.
I think it's just the random and spontaneous things that just more, I don't know, Mo is just a genius somehow.
Yeah.
It's just like,
his album kind of floored me. I was like,
Yeah.
It's too good.
He's like,
I feel like
you have an
nothing
EP coming out. And I'm like, okay, there's an EP coming out. You're not rethinking, and then like he's saying it again, like, yeah, I'm gonna make this EP, finish it. Like, okay, like you never heard of this, and suddenly you have it, and then suddenly it blows your head away because it's so good.
I'm like, so hey, shall we do any promotion for it? You want to like do an interview? He's like, nah, it's good. Like, okay, I'm not gonna fight it. That's his approach.
Yeah, I
That's
think Mo
perfect.
doesn't want to be in a camera. He wouldn't like it to be in a camera.
No, I've tried so many times to get him to do
Yeah.
any promotion for his work, and he's just like, no. But I think a part of his music is like, who is this? I think that part of, who
Yeah,
is
not
this guy
explaining.
screaming? Yeah, it's like you'll never know.
Yeah.
So I get it though. But Rich and Holy 965 floored me. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I listened to it like 20 times in a day. Lots of good stuff actually coming out of K Plus in the past year. Lots of good stuff. I feel like everyone's wrapping up some stuff they've been working on for a long time.
Everyone is realizing there's like that we're actually a group of people that wants to work on something cool. Mm-hmm. And before that, it was always like a bit like foggy, or like. And now, like also myself, I just know I wanna be part of it and support each other and just like work together on something, because there are so many genius people in it that have like everyone has like in their sense something that is just really special.
I agree, and I was looking at the K Plus body of work the other day, and I was like, man, if there's one thing that K Plus is, it's diverse. Like there really is no one artist in K Plus that sounds like the other. You know how you get record labels and everyone sounds the same? It's just like a label full of bands that all sound the same. Or you turn on a radio station, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, it's all the same song really. It's just kind of different versions of the same song. But if you turned on a K Plus radio station, people would just get confused, and I'm like, I like that about it. They're like, what? Who put all this music together? What kind of mix is this? But like that's kind of special. It's everyone's bonding and connecting and supporting each other and helping each other make music, but nobody's writing music like the person next to them. It's all a lot of it is electronically based in that we're all using DAW systems and so forth.
Everyone just keeps doing their thing somehow, and it's cool.
I'm still trying to figure out my genre of music. I'm like, I don't really know what it is. And then I hear your genre, and I'm like, I don't know what genre that is. And then I hear I hear,
Like
the Gold Plates
most
EP.
stuff.
I'm like, I don't know what genre that is. Angry, I guess, is the genre.
Yeah, damn, that's true.
But that's good. That's good. It's a wonderful thing to be influenced.
Yeah.
I love being influenced. I love it. I love listening to work and going, I want to make something now. That feeling is exhilarating. But I hate when I sit down to make something and I'm like, I just ripped that person off. It's not me. And that's okay because it's all part of it, right? Sometimes you have to just make stuff and it won't ever see the light of day. But it helps you practice and it helps you kind of see a bigger picture and that you keep working toward. But I love how we're all influencing each other, but we're all coming out with stuff that is nothing like the other person. It makes me feel like I'm a part of something special and not just in the group because I'm doing stuff that's just like everybody else in the group.
Piece of the puzzle.
Piece of the puzzle. And then you put the puzzle together and it doesn't make any sense. It's a picture of nothing.
It's like, what the fuck is this? This is not
What
even
is that supposed to be?
part of, like, this is not
all
even...
the pieces fit together, but that's not a real picture.
Like, what the fuck, dudes?
It's good. It's good. I hope K Plus never ends. I really do. It's one of those things that I'm a part of that I'm like, I really hope this never dies. If this dies, I'm gonna go
I will be
into,
really sad.
depression. I'm gonna cave, man. If this thing goes away, it will break me.
Yeah, that's true. Same.
It's also good to know when you have a good thing. Sometimes you don't know that you have a good thing until it's gone. But I'm like, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good to know it in the moment.
It took forever to really build up, which is a good sign. Like, it took forever to, like, really come into, like, shape. And, like, it's just, like, a slowly development, not, like, a sudden, where people are, like, forced into and then they have to do something. Everyone was just, like, checking it out for a while and was just, like, watching, listening, and over some certain time, some people got more sure about it and made more, and now there's, like, some sort of, like, self-working support system somehow, that just kind of keeps working and gets better, and everyone is, like, slowly, like, understanding their own role without anyone telling them to,
You fly to Canada, you make him some food, Gare screams, just yells into a microphone. That's all he needs to do, and it works.
Who screamed in microphones?
Mo.
Mo, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like his
same.
screaming. I'm like, hey man, blow your larynx out.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I was waiting for something like this for so long from Mo somehow, and now he's just doing it.
He's back.
Yeah.
Apparently he's sitting on like tons of music. I'm sure without any warning, it's gonna be everywhere. I'm the opposite. I've been like working on the same 10 songs for like 2 years.
Yeah, there people are like starting tracks forever, and there are people really trying to figure out and finish tracks, but they have a certain sense of how they should be. And then there are always in between songs that just like happen in a second.
Yeah, exactly. I've got some songs I've been working on for years. They're still like, I still got to keep going on this one. And then I wrote one in like 3 days, and I'm like, it's done. That's done. I don't have to touch that one. It's funny how that happens. And no one notices the difference. No one can tell which one took forever and which one happened quickly. Unless there's some like overt, like it's really long and complicated.
Yeah.
I might be able to tell, but still, people just don't care. And it's fine. I don't think that they should. I don't think that's what... I don't care about things because I necessarily think that they were harder to do. Although I do respect people when they try to bite off things that are hard to accomplish.
I think when you're like working on something for like 4 years, I think you're just like also really overthinking of how it should be and should look like, but that's like really hard to understand and like figure out because you don't like you do it for yourself and like yourself to like to be satisfied with it in some sense, but at the same time I think this happens also when you're trying to figure out how other people will see it or how you want to approach it, like approach people with it, maybe.
Did you ever see that movie by Jonathan Glazer with Scarlett Johansson, Under the Skin? It took him 10 years to make this movie. He only worked on this movie for 10 years straight. I was so excited about this film, partly because of that reason, that he labored over this thing forever. And I think because it took him so long, I expected it to be the best movie that was ever made. And I'm sure some people think it is. It's not that I know it's not, but I felt like this movie is incredibly disappointing. If he made this in a year, I might have liked it more. But when you put that much into it, I expect more. You know, the soundtrack is the best part of the whole film. The soundtrack is unbelievable. I do a lot of writing to the soundtrack when I'm just trying to write film ideas out. I think you would love the soundtrack. The soundtrack's incredible. You have to send me. It has some incredible visuals to it as well. Things where people are going into voids. That's one of the most interesting parts of the film. They're entering into voids. The way he showed that was amazing. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. But the pacing of the movie was just torturous. It was just so slow and. So.
What's it like about? Is she's like lands on planet Earth and is an alien, or?
It's like a coming of age story for an alien. It's like she's realizing who she is and coming into her own. It's like self-discovery. The film, to me, I could be totally wrong, but it felt like a story about self-discovery. It's got some great things about it, but there's scenes where you're just watching her walk on the road for like 5 minutes. It's like, all right, just cut to where she's going, please. There's a scene where she's eating a piece of cake or something in a diner, and like, just eat the cake. Just let me eat the cake. Come on. I was just like, oh, do something more than.
And then the aliens are like the bad people, of course, you know, like they of course want to invade the planet and want to destroy it, even though the planet is already destroyed, but they want to do it. Like, let's drop some more bombs, you know, let's go away. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about the planet. What do you think? How do you see the world now? Is it hard to look at? Right now, this planet? Yeah. What are your thoughts on the world? That's a really hard question. How I think it is right now? So since this is connected to me, I have to figure out, why is this happening? Why am I doing it? Doing what? Like all the stuff on this planet, just like people dying like crazy, getting killed, war, oil, who gets the most, competition, jealousy. It's really hard. I don't know. I can't really answer this question. Why do you think suffering exists? What do you think is the root of all suffering? The cause. So it really depends if you want to see it as suffering or not. Do you see it as process of yourself, or do you see it as like a thing that you suffer through and then you die from it, or you get weaker from it, or you see it as something, as a process of yourself that just helps you understand something about yourself?
I think that suffering is an experience, and that from suffering you can learn from it, and the suffering, although it's a painful experience, which is what makes it suffering, different from a joyous experience, like kissing someone versus being hit by someone. They are different experiences. They feel different. They have different motivations. But I do think that typically people grow stronger and have the potential to become more perseverant because of suffering, not because of favor or good feelings. It's like if you just kiss someone every day, they're going to grow up and they're not going to have a spine. They're not really going to know how to do anything if you never allow them to experience anything that's difficult, but you just lavish only pleasantries upon them. They're gonna be useless. They're not gonna know how to work or take care of themselves or anybody else, or build anything, or they're gonna be emotionally crippled, really. But if someone goes through a measure of suffering, that person actually does have a better chance at being a resilient person to some degree. And so persevering through things, learning how to do something well. So I do think that suffering is not necessarily a bad thing. Although I would say suffering is a bad experience, because it pains humanity to suffer, but that doesn't necessarily mean that pain is always a bad thing.
Yeah, it really depends on how the person takes it in.
I agree.
And it like depends on the amount, like, I'm kind of stuck in my head right now.
I can see. You're back on the beach.
Clouds, sand,
ducks. Do you find yourself like going down the rabbit hole a lot in thought?
Even that is not really the truth. Like, I can't really tell what's the truth or not, or what my opinion even is, because my opinion is so divided in so many opinions. So I don't know really how to explain to you if I...
Well, I can see what you're saying. I mean, if you don't know what's true, then it must be quite impossible to determine what you think.
Yeah. Or what am I doing, or how to explain it in words, and how those words are completely how it should, like it's always kind of like every word is kind of like already a limit to what I'm saying. So when I say the word, it's already limiting of what I'm trying to say, because this word is just a word, All
right, is there anything in life that you feel like helps you get closer to the truth?
Yeah, that's like just music and visualizing it. That helps, but it still feels like not enough. Like still pieces missing to really describe it, and I don't know yet how to do that. I think, or maybe I do. I don't know.
The truth. One day you're going to come out with an album called The Truth.
The Truth, inspired by John Daniel Chezney. A picture of you like this.
Well, hey, let's wrap it up. I'm tired. This is good.
Tired of you.
No.
Your bullshit.
Never. No, I got what I wanted.
Okay.
It's good to hear you laughing again. It's
been a while.
Yeah.
I feel like I should just Skype you every couple of weeks and just be like, can you just laugh for a little bit? I just need to hear you laugh.
True, Jordan. I haven't seen you laughing since like 1.5 years, so yeah. Damn. Okay.
Sleep
Okay,
well.
Sleep well.
I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Bye
Okay,
bye.
Bye.